So like, for an example, last year we cleaned 10 or 12 out in 15 mile out in the horse area. They were all fairly close so we could get to them all. But that doesn't mean if there isn't one that is of need, someplace that we can't get there and make that happen. Now, part of the things when you start looking at reservoir maintenance versus reservoir reconstruction, you start looking at 50%. If it's more, it can take more than 50% to reconstruct or to maintain it, then we're into a reconstruction phase. And that takes a little different avenue. Now, a lot of the reservoirs that are out here are, they're not under cooperative agreements yet, because they were just built back when they were just built. Now, don't be afraid to have your constituents work with their range con to get those authorized. It's really simple to do that, and it's just a paperwork exercise. And once that's done, then we can allow you to do the maintaining of those reservoirs.
Okay. So I have a question when you're talking about funding projects that might be, so we're in the process of rebuilding Black Mountain Road, the county portion, which
Part of it's left off.
well, yeah, some of it, but no, the paved road
Okay.
that's in such a poor condition, and it's actually a major BLM access, and the only real access to that portion of the county to get up to the BLM, and there's quite a bit of it that is BLM. And we've made an agreement with the state through some CRIP funds, but we don't have enough to get all the way down the road. I'm just wondering if we could make application for some of those funds to help us do that.
Wasn't there some of that tied with some flat money, federal highways funds dollars?
We
applied
applied for it, but it's super competitive, and we don't have near the traffic numbers that some of the other parts of the state did, which we didn't qualify. But you know, I know there's a major BLM pipeline corridor coming out of it that crosses that road and goes up Kirby Creek there, and a lot of activity, and you know, that's the only way you get to no water out of our country. And anyway, just be interested
we can look into
if there'd be an opportunity. We're in the design phase, and you know, we're about 3 months short of getting all eight miles of the road. Anyway,
So about $3 million is what you need to, isn't it about $1 million a mile?
that is a little higher than that right now, but I think the last 3 might not be quite as expensive as some of the earlier stuff. You get up out of that marshy area there. When you go by line there, the corral they have and that. Anyway, there's an opportunity that might be a great.
We can always put it in and see if it'll fly. I mean,
Well, and that, you know,
the idea is that we kind of.
I hadn't thought of that, but I mean, that, you know, where it's already, the design, and actually the design is gonna be for all 8 miles.
So all the engineering preliminary work will be done.
So it'll actually be fairly inexpensive for the next 3 in the sense of the whole thing.
Right.
And it might be that the county would match some if that was a requirement or for the next 3, so.
All I can say is we'll look at it.
Okay. Well, that'd be good. That'd be great.
What else did you want to talk about, Mike? I'm open to about anything. You guys know me, I'm kind of an open book.
So, other current projects here in Hot Springs County, we've got the old airport sits up here on top of the hill. Think about all kinds of outdoor activities that could potentially happen there. The BLM isn't adjacent, there's a piece of city property, and then maybe even just a tiny bit of private before it opens up to BLM completely out there to the southwest. Northwest. You know, and part of that outdoor activities would potentially include concessionaires with mountain bikes or something like that, and having access to the BLM with some.
Are we talking like Red Butte? Is that Just right outside.
Round Top Mountain, yeah, north of Round Top Mountain.
Right up on top,
Okay.
it actually sits between Round Top and T Hill. The airport, the old airport does.
Because we have something very similar to that housing development, it's just outside of town here. Just up the hill where there is access to public land.
Oh, that's on Sage Valley.
Yeah.
Correct. That hooks right into the BLM, and the Outdoor Alliance group worked, I think, with you guys to
Yes.
get some trail stuff up there. Not exactly that, but similar to that same idea. We're applying with the business council for some development money to help tear up the runway and turn that into a more usable space, maybe more sellable space, something like that. But with a giant hook into the outdoor recreation that we seem to be blessed with here in the county, so BLM is in that direction. So as we get further down those roads and maybe make a plan, having some connectivity and some access to BLM, I think makes that appealing.
So one person to really talk with about that, his name's Colin Hardy. He's our new outdoor rec planner. He's been on my staff for about 6 months. So he's a little overwhelmed right at the moment, but it sounds like something that he would work on in the future. But if we never get it on anyone's list, it'll never get done.
Sure.
But that would be a good starting point. And I can talk with him when I get back to the office today or tomorrow.
Maybe we'll just reach out with a letter or something to him
Yeah,
and let you know what our plan is.
or just put it, attention to me and I'll get it to him. It'll all work.
Okay. Good. That's one we've been working on a bunch, so that's good. Others?
It's pretty easy on us today.
The sheriff's got his hand up. He's not gonna let you off.
You mentioned BLM roads that need a lot of work. I didn't know, is Little Sandra, it's through and through BLM. Is it one that you maintain?
You know, I don't know, right off the top of my head. I would say that we do if we have an issue that occurs, that we know about. That's part of our staffs being out in the country all the time. When they come in and find washouts and that, we go fix those things. Because it's important to make sure we keep those arteries open.
It's not a county road, it's an artery that goes to an oil field that connects to the county road.
So my guess is yes, we do. But if you look at, we have thousands and thousands of miles of road that we have to maintain. We've got 4 people.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of prioritize where we go, some of the main arteries, but when things happen, we do take care of those.
If you want to put it on your checklist.
Yeah, so we'll do that. And if you ever see washouts in BLM Road, just give us a call and we'll put it on the list.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
All right. That all? Well, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was good.
If you have anything, just feel free to call anytime.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming down. Tricia. So, you're being recorded.
We got the official report.
So when you start talking, they'll
Zoom in on you.
we'll zoom in on you.
So we actually have an owl in our office, and
Great. Minus my neighbors.
so I'm sure you guys are aware, normally this is our TANF CPI grant application beginning process. This year, DFS has decided to extend the current contracts instead of requesting new applications for a couple of reasons. I think A, to help administrative purposes, and B, to determine if extending the funding will create stronger community programs. So we did reach out to the current subrecipient and had them submit their application to you guys for review. And you guys should have it.
And it's the same money
Yep, so it would be the same money awarded, the money doesn't roll over, so they have to use it, within the federal fiscal year.
So, for the benefit of Commissioner Galvich, if you, Tana, explain what that is and.
Yes, so it's a federal fund for eligible individuals and families. I should have brought the whole contract to read it to you.
For assistance for
Yeah.
The cover shows what it is, but.
Yeah, so in Hot Springs County, that funding currently goes to High Country Behavioral Health, and they work to allocate, well, it should be in that current application where that money goes, but a lot of it is to help the needy families in the community that need assistance with financial support to provide those services. And then it lists what their goal is to see in the year. And then quarterly, we submit reports based on their trackings, like how things are going, what kind of support they've received, what kind of trainings, what's the ultimate goal. A little bit of it goes, I believe, to supplies and stuff, but mostly that funding goes directly to direct care for those.
Do they usually spend all their
Yep.
money?
Mhm. Yep.
That's a $20,000 total.
Yes, yep. So normally we receive the application grant in March-ish, and then it's due May-ish, and then the funding will come starting in October.
This year, we're not
So this year they decided that,
just extend the.
yeah, that they're seeking to see if that helps streamline services and provide better resources, connections, and those types of things in the communities. So I mean, it says in there that you have the opportunity to do different things, if you need to change those things. But that's our current subrecipient, and they do
Okay. So we just need a motion
Your signature on the 2023 TANF CPI grant, which is just an extension of the 22, the total amount of $20,000.
I second that motion. Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just specifying that the third-party user of the grant is High Country Behavioral Health on Street.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
If I could copy it.
Okay, thank you.
That Trish's gonna stay there anyhow.
You guys get to see me for a while.
That way hopefully the camera focuses on something better looking at things. So I'm here to give you an update on the security project in the annex building itself. The last time we spoke, TCI was gonna work at getting quotes put together. Public health, Tricia was gonna put in for a grant. TCI did provide a quote for the 10 doors for public health. It got submitted for grant and they got approved. So TCI has got those components ordered and we're moving forward with those 10 doors. In your packet, there was a proposal for the additional 6 doors, which are basically county doors, not doors that public health uses. That we're looking for approval for that to try and get this whole building done at the same time.
We don't have that second proposal, we just have Dean's quote.
For 618422.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the
above and
county's portion.
beyond your grant.
So mine's covered 14,109.40.
Okay, that was good. Caroline, you couldn't write the rest 6 sentences.
But if it gets approved today, TCI believes they should be able to pretty well have the project done by June 1st, providing there's no issues getting the components. And right now, it doesn't appear there is, so.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the quote from TCI dated 4/6/23 for the total amount of $6,184.22 to complete the security plan for all of the county annex, including the remaining 6 doors in the commissioner's chambers.
second the motion. Okay, have a motion to second. Now, I got one question. This was gonna tie to where we could do that.
Yeah, using the same software and the same type of components as we go and upgrade courthouse, law enforcement, whatever, it'll all tie in together into one system.
It doesn't now, but this building will have something that we could add on when we do that.
That is correct. Yeah, and the technology should be good for about 8 to 10 years, so. After that, we're back in the same boat.
Oh, it'll all be the same though. So we get 8 to 10 years and we can still maybe buy parts for another 4 or 5.
Let's hope so. If not, here we go again, right?
Dean's back there shaking his head.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Okay, other discussion?
Take it out of the clerk's mind.
I think capital improvements at the courthouse would be appropriate. Okay, other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And I'd just like to thank everybody that's been involved. And with Frank exiting, Johnny has stepped up and worked with Trish on access to doors and stuff, so everybody involved has been good. So.
Okay, thank you, you too.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right,
That's all I got.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're on the next one too, aren't you? So, at this time, we are going to go into executive session, to discuss personnel and possible litigation.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Recording stopped.